So I really liked your lesson. I'm sure it was hard. I guess you guys are not in session yet, so you didn't have your actual class. You had about 4 people that were your students, and they were actually really well behaved. They seemed like I really liked your lesson. I'm going to repeat that because I just saw the live thing come on, so I'm not sure if it recorded it. You didn't have a lot of students because I'm guessing you weren't in session yet, but it was really well organized, even though it was in your house. I'm guessing it was your house or somebody's house instead of the school.
Yeah.
You had everything planned out that this is where they're going to start, and then they're going to move to the carpet. I'm going to have a video set up here and then a whiteboard over here. We're going to do a whole group lesson here and then a small group lesson here, and then they're going to do independent work here. So it just seemed like you really knew exactly how you wanted everything to go, and it went really smoothly. I
Oh,
liked in particular that you had them creating the questions because that's not something you see in a lot of lessons, especially with younger kids. You you see a lot of here's the question and then the teacher helps you solve it or you solve it on your own. And you did that at first, but then you also had them using their own real life situations to create applicable word problems, which they then solved with a partner. So then that takes some of the workload off of you and you're just becoming a facilitator. So it was a really great lesson. It was partly teacher driven and partly student driven. It hit the standards that you wanted to cover. It used a variety of approaches. You had a video for your visual learners. You had the whiteboard where you were recording what you were writing and walking them through it. You had them working with a partner for collaboration and also working on their own for independence. So I don't see anything to change about that. I'd just be really curious to see how it works. I just really like to see it in the classroom.
oh, okay. I appreciate your comments, and actually, it was not very easy for me to get a student. I had two students that were ELL students, and I had to use the pair teach, so they will be able to understand the lesson. That was the difficult part in it. But at the end, the students were able to grasp what I wanted them to understand. And so for your own lesson, and I love the fact that it was precise and straight to the point. Students knew what they were supposed to do and of the board, so they could always refer to it. And I like the fact that they had to make their own maps, so they were actually engaged in their work. And I also like when you call them individually to mark out a movement or country or desert or river on the board. Is really student centered because I see that the students were actually meeting up with the objective of the lesson. And when I read your objective, you said you wanted the student to be able to map out things that happened or people or idea that in a long time ago. I think that's a very good way of teaching history, and students will be able to trace out some things that really happened. And I like that. One thing I would like to comment on is the classroom management. You know, upper school students, they're not always easy to to handle. So I would suggest that maybe you in next activity or next lesson you make a provision for use of class dojo, so a student could use it to monitor behavior of students. And if students know that their behavior too is being monitored, they will be I think they'll be more careful with the way they behave, and their parents also will be tracking their behavior. So I think you should incorporate class dojo in your lessons, or you can use the two noise pro. When we learned about managing the classroom. Yeah, I think that's the only thing. But outside of that, the lesson was straight, and the students understood what they're supposed to do, and they were on task.
Thank you. Yeah, the classroom management has been a hassle in general because we have the biggest class sizes I've ever seen. There were 42 kids in that class, and that was the first full day of school, the first lesson I did. So it was crazy. Now I've got a little chime, a little wind chime that I ring when I want them to be quiet. Because I tried the clapping thing and they didn't respond well to that because they're high schoolers, but they actually really
Yeah.
like the wind chime. And I think also, even though I had them in groups intentionally so that they would work together on the project, it definitely made it louder because they want to talk about the project. So even when I am trying to have their attention, they're not paying attention to me, they're paying attention to their friend. So now they're all in rows of two. So they have a partner, but they don't have like four other people around them to talk to. So that way
Okay,
they can still
it's
collaborate, but not as loud.
okay. So since you had them in a group, I would suggest that maybe you can tell them that if they are making noise in that group, they will lose a point, you know. Just using that as a strategy to get them to be quiet. Those upper school students, they are not always easy to control, not at all.
And I think that's a
For
great
my
strategy.
yeah, for my elementary school students, just they want to eyes on me and that's all. Or you clap and that's all. They always
Mm.
listen, but it's not always easy to control the upper school. Sometimes it's crazy.
No, because I use those elementary ones when I transitioned from kindergarten, and they do it
Mm.
is the funny thing, but they hate you for it. They have this look like, I can't believe you just made me clap. So it doesn't work in the long term.
Outside of that, I think it was a very nice one and students were engaged.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, the main goal for
Yeah.
that lesson was just to see what they already know. I had
It's so
also
bad that we're doing this video. Yeah, it's so bad we're doing this video late because it's actually night here.
I know, I feel
Mm.
so bad. It's like 1 o'clock in the
Oh,
afternoon
I hope
here.
Sarah wouldn't mind.
But no, she said it was fine. But then she had given me a
Okay.
suggestion on my lesson too that it would be really nice to use it for a smaller unit. So like right now we're talking about Rome, so maybe giving them specifically a map of the Roman Empire and having them do that activity on a smaller scale instead of just the whole world and all of history. If I give them more of a focus, they would probably be able to do better on it. So that's also a suggestion I'll try to keep in mind next year when I do it.
Okay, and that would be great.
Well, I don't really, again, I don't have any suggestions for you. I can tell that you've been teaching before. I feel like you've taught this lesson
No,
before.
I'm a teaching assistant, but my classroom teacher, she usually gives me opportunity to teach sometimes. So it really helped me, and she's actually a good teacher. She's been teaching for the past 16 years, and she's well experienced, and I learned a lot from
Well, you did great. I loved that lesson. I can't think of a suggestion to make it better. So
her.
just keep doing what you're
Okay,
doing.
okay, all right. See you tomorrow.
All right. See you tomorrow morning.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
So